Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Wednesday, the 29th of October, 2025. All right, my friends. So we saw what we expected. The Fed came in, cut interest rates 25 basis points. I'm actually surprised that people are reacting negatively to the Fed chair saying that December is not a given. Do you honestly expect that he was going to come out and say, everybody, we're going to cut in December? I'm lost. Number two, he did the right thing. We need more data. We're making educated guesses is what the Fed's doing. I watched the press say we have a divided Fed. Now, let me try to get this. You have all these voting members. You had one member, Moran, go in. He wanted 50 basis point cut. Schmidt didn't want to cut it all, and everybody else wanted to get to 25 basis points. Would you explain to me where the division is? Because I don't see it in the vote. I know we'll get the notes on all this in a week or two, and we'll play with it and be able to read more. But trying tonight to say that's a divided Fed, it is not a divided Fed. You've had dissents for the past 3 meetings. You're still getting them. They're not picking up in number. Leave it be where it's at. Don't try to make something out of it that it isn't. The bigger event today is going to be what happens tonight between presidents, plural, Trump and Xi. I appreciate that China came to the table before the meeting even began and bought 3 cargoes of U.S. soybeans. They haven't bought 1 this year. So here they step to the table. You don't think that that's a sign from them, and whatever method you want to think, that, hey, this thing's gotten a bit out of hand. Let's try to bring it back in, Mr. President Trump. I do. Now I think it's our turn to do something to help them, be it the Blackwell chips, whatever it is, the Boeing planes, whatever, the same way. Tone this down. Nobody wins with this craziness that is going on, where every time we turn around, the U.S. is putting another tariff on China. I don't agree with it. I'm not pro-Chinese. I'm pro getting everything back to neutral. Do we understand where I'm coming from? And there's got to be a better way to do it than has been going on for all these, the better part of the year at this point in time. So you're going to get that yin-yang event. In other words, at 1:30, the Fed comes out, p.m. Central Time, the speech, all the points, the Fed chair, and I covered all in my written update tonight, what the event was and how they're looking at things and where they're at on the job list and the lack of job growth and things of that nature. But then we get into the other event tonight of Trump-Xi. Could this blow up? It could. Could it end up being a much more friendly friend fest? It could. How does the market review it? We have to see it. And I ask you to do one thing. Try to find newspapers that aren't American or Chinese and read what foreigners are saying about how the events went. Very important, because too much propaganda goes everywhere else. Does that make sense to you? If not, fine. That's what I do. And I have a number of sources that I go to. In the market, you're getting your earnings now. Microsoft, Google, Meta, everybody's coming in, and it's always a mixed bag. Number one, understand what we've got. We have a stock market that is being driven by a revolution in artificial intelligence. This isn't a fad. This isn't going to go away. This isn't going to be one of these events that's a dot-com burst. Not going to be the case at all. This is a true change of life in the world, not the United States, not Asia, not Latin America, the world. Artificial intelligence is going to impact everything. It's a better way of doing things. You're starting to see the first impacts come in where you've got 14,000 laid off at Amazon. Isn't this the time of year we're normally hiring because the Christmas season is coming, but now you're able to lay off? It's not because business is bad. It's because robotics, artificial intelligence is speeding things up and making this better, faster, and in the end, more cost efficient for everybody. These are really important events that are going on. Not every company is going to be a winner. You're going to see that. I see that. We saw today Boeing take a big hit because they took another $5 billion charge from that 777X that they just can't seem to get done. But with the new chair that's running the company and the board, I think they will make big progress, and I think these are the buying opportunities that come in. So you get your $8, $9 breaks in the market, and don't be surprised. You've got to get to the point where it's clean. But every time you're going to tell me, we got 4 more planes a month we can deliver, what does that bring in the revenue? They will get that new plane finally done the right way. Now, I've asked you to send me the names of new charts that you want me to cover. A number of you have done so. I haven't yet brought them on. I promise you I will. I'm reading. Just go to YouTube, write what you want me to cover, and those that make sense, I will do it. I see JP Morgan and the control companies and so on. It's all going to happen. I will do all those. So that's a guarantee from me. All right, so as we look at this, we're still looking, though, at the PG&E, the holding company, and engaged in the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity and natural gas coming down. It's not bullish. Does that look to you like a bullish chart? If so, okay, go have your other drink of wine tonight. Lower highs, or beers, lower highs, lower lows, still pointing down. It's not super bearish. You're coming into your first major support of the 200-day average. Maybe you get down to the 18-day, and the Bollinger Band is right here. So you're not going to get me saying, If anything, if you were sitting next to me, you'd get a jab like that in your rib cage, and if you were short, I'd be going, why aren't you covering shorts? You're down to your first major support level, and you're oversold. Number 2, we go into Paladin Corp. Remember that series, Paladin? Whenever I see this, I always think about that. Lower highs, lower lows, coming down. You can see how the market has got itself right here into an embedded status, which means rallies in this market still get sold, in my opinion, by the pros until the red line closes back over the 21 level. Dutch Brothers is beating the heck out of Starbucks. I saw today that Andrew Sorkin was talking about he went to Starbucks, and I guess they've come out with a new protein-flavored drink, and he's in love with it. Maybe that will help the company. I don't know. You know, he's just one person, but he said that the lines are there, and that's good for business. The problem is the cost that Starbucks has. The problem is they've got to get it away. I am not poor, but I have a real hard problem going in, and by the time I order my drink and with the tip, I'm at $7 or whatever for a cup of coffee. I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me. It does for you, I'm sure. It doesn't work. What if you want 2 or 3 a day? I'm suddenly at $20, and I drink probably at home 4 or 5 cups a day. Higher high and lower low. And by the way, exactly across the street is a really neat place where I can walk, 100 feet and get great lattes, cappuccinos. I refuse to pay the prices, and I'm not cheap. Higher lows, higher highs. Watch out, Nenson. I said yesterday, are you going to lose the embedded reading? You got to be careful here. This has to hold on. You started backing off, and with today's action, you've now got a 73 reading. So the odds favor that unless you're up strong tomorrow, prices are going right back to the 18-day average to regroup. So out of this swing up, very possibly, and ready to rebuild. In Netflix, you haven't finished the decline. How much further? I don't think it has to drop further. It just hasn't picked itself up where it's saying it wants to get into the short covering and people starting to buy it again. I'm not seeing that on the chart at this point. In Uber, we came down, we challenged the 18-day average, and we closed on a positive note. You really have to close over 97.73 to get me excited now in it. And if that happens, I think you go to 99.39 and then contract highs, the all-time high. So I like what I'm still seeing, and I like their business model. In Tesla, you're still caught in the sideways trading range. You're overbought. You've gone to the lower band, to the upper band, all within days of each other. Still very much in the sideways action. We'll see if it can break out one way or the other. Joby is trying the upside again. That's why I keep covering it here. Higher lows, higher highs. Now, if it can stay here and finish this week up and over that 18-day average, it's the first sign that you might be ready to come back for these highs up through there, the upper band. You're not there yet, but you certainly have every reason to no longer be bearish. In XLF, you pulled the bottom out of this market, the financials. Just look what happened late in the day. First, earlier, you had a gap. Then you continued down. You're probably not through going down. I wouldn't be surprised that you hit the lower Bollinger Band 1, 2, 3. In the industrial sector, you're trying to build and stay bullish, but you're overbought, too close to the upper Bollinger Band. I can make an argument to pull back and do a little more sideways action. In energy, pulled back to the combination of support of the green line, the 100-day average, and the red, the 18-day average. The pattern is one of a higher high, lower low, so not really a trend trade per se. In the gold market, still haven't been able to lift here. Are we through with the stops are the big question. Today, the market tried the upside earlier. I saw a $100 range in the futures from 39.30 to 40.30 like that. From the last night to this morning, and I went, whoa, that is something. And I didn't know why we were down $37 last night right after the opening. But it did. It opened, I think, 39.67, went to 39.30, and then rallied. I do all this from memory, by the way. There's no keyboard here. There's nothing there. And, you remember how that went. You're still not through. You might be going back to the 354 level here. SoFi, well, you're up to the upper Bollinger Band. You've tried to come out of the sideways action. You're not convincing me you've done it yet. I'm certainly in the bullish camp, not the bearish camp, but I think you're at the point where profit taking is hitting the market. Palantir, is this going to be where it can break out from this sideways action? It's got all the earmarks of doing that. This is one to keep your eye on. It is overbought. Overbought often leads to a small pullback in the market, but it's not acting bearish. Bond market, TLT, as soon as the Fed chair said December is not a given, the air came out of the room and immediately the market fell back. I have a policy and I share it with you all the time. You don't go into these Fed meetings, major central bank meetings, and think that you've got it figured out and how the market's going to react. I've done it. It rarely works right. And you learn your lesson very quickly. You come in afterwards. Dollar, still bullish. Remember, no one wanted to own the dollar down here. Debasing, it's no good. We're dumping dollars. We're only going to buy gold. We're getting rid of it. Well, those that came out with that statement certainly didn't do so well on this chart. It's not that the chart ran away. Let's be realistic. This is a $27 rate area. This is 28. The chart action is bullish. Price has really not done anything. So always take this into account. When I teach in my charting course, I remove the name of the chart often from everything you see. Do you know why? I don't want you to have a preconceived idea. I want you to trade patterns. This pattern's been bullish, not bearish. The exact opposite of what all those people were saying. And in FXE, you failed again. You failed at the 18 and the 100-day average. You're turning your momentum down. You're not trending down, but you certainly haven't been able to maintain any upside momentum. So you put it together, you try to come up with game plans, and that's what I'm trying my darn best to do for you on a daily basis. If you want to see more, you want to get where I'm saying buy here, sell there, do that, well, go in, take a look at the word research at iraepstein.com. Join me in the mornings. I'm Ira. You have yourself a good evening. Watch the other videos, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Take care.